Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 16 of FTB Interactions. Last episode we set up our mob farm to make grains of, infinity dust, and I mostly have left it off because it has a tendency to actually spawn mobs on the roof here. I think what happens is if a mob tries to spawn at the very top level, like it tries to spawn with its feet at the top level, which causes the actual mob to spawn above the glass here. So I've left it off so mobs don't run amok in my base. But from like an hour of running it, I have 20,000 infinity dust. So I'm probably not going to bother fixing it. Like each grain of infinity makes somewhere around 1,000 infinity dust, I think. So it's a pretty darn good ratio. Anyways, moving on, our next goal then is to make the empowered canola oil, right? Which is empowered canola oil or empowered canola seeds, crystallized oil, crystallized canola seeds, and regular oil. So let's go get regular oil. The easiest way to get that, in my opinion, is just to pump it. There is a crafting recipe for it. You can centrifuge it from soul sand. It's probably the easiest way, but I mean, I guess you could set up a system where you centrifuge hellish matter into soul sand into yada yada yada. I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna go pump it. So I have some oil deposits up here. I'm pretty sure that's what these little things here are. So let's head up there to grab them. However, before we do that, I want to make one small change to the way I'm using my remote order. Right now, I'm just using it to order items, right? If I want, the dandelion, I order it and then it pops out of the pipe at the point I ordered it. I've been told that in the quest here, let's see, the remote order quest, if I make the order logistic pipe, I get 2 ender chests as a reward. Neat. These ender chests let me order items then to myself, or rather to the ender chest, but I can link an ender pouch to the ender chest and then order the items to myself. So let me go make this pipe and I'll show you what I mean. Naturally, step 1 is to craft the pipe and place it somewhere. You generally want this pipe to be pretty close to your actual storage because this is where your items will go to. So let's put it here and claim our quest reward. I'll use I'll use triple white for now, but I'll change it later. Then what you can do is you can bind your remote order to the pipe by right-clicking on it. Now when you open your remote order and request an item, it goes to the pipe. What you can also do is you can still use the remote order the previous way. If you order an item to a pipe segment, it still gets delivered to the pipe. Now if I make it under pouch, I haven't checked this recipe though. Okay, good. But I hope this recipe isn't anything crazy because I should have checked it beforehand. And bind your ender pouch to the ender chest, although this ender pouch is already bound, then you can order items effectively to yourself, right? If I want my TNT, I order it, it'll eventually go to that ender pouch, or that ender chest, and then I can pull it out via the ender pouch. And because the quest ever so conveniently gives us 2 ender chests, we'll use one for output, that is to take items out of our storage, and one for input. So if I want to put items away, I can just drop them off into the white ender pouch, which takes them into the network. And if I want to take items out, I order them and they go into our black ender pouch. So this entire system ends up taking up 3 inventory slots. Although if you're not using, say, the drop-off feature, you can store your white ender pouch until you need it. This just means that now when we go mine our oil, if it turns out I need some blocks or something that I forgot to grab, I don't have to fly all the way home to get them, or teleport home rather. Right? We still have these ender shards for teleportation. Anyways, to pump the oil, there's a few choices, although I think the pump from Industrial Foregoing is the most convenient one. Other decent options, I've never used the GregTech pump. No clue how good that is, but the shape card pump from RF Tools, in fact, I don't even see it. You can use a builder with a shape card. Maybe, oh no, here it is. This is also a perfectly viable option, but I'm going to go with the Industrial Foregoing one. At a glance, these oil wells don't look terribly big, but they actually include, you see that entire like semicircle down there? That's all oil. So my plan is to build over one of these. I want to stay as high up as I can because you see that sea serpent over there? Those things really mess me up. I ran into one while I was mining and it like 2-shot me. So I'm hopefully, oh, there's another one there. Hopefully going to not get their attention. At least that's the goal. But anyways, I'm going to build over this. The fluid pump, the way it works is if you place it above a block and give it a range add-on, it'll pump in like a rectangular prism shaped that goes all the way down to bedrock. So I just have to place it over the oil. So pumping the oil, I have a fluid pump powered by a spectre coil with a range upgrade in it such that it pumps all the oil underneath this that square basically. And then to transfer the oil, I have a fluid transfer node here. It's a wireless thing, and I just have to link the other end to somewhere. I also have a ender shard bound here so I can teleport back. So if I head home, grab a tank of some sort and bind it, I should be able to teleport fluid into that tank. And just like that, this drum is filling up with oil. I probably shouldn't have used one of our good drums on this, but the quest gave it to me as a reward, so it seemed appropriate to use. Anyways, if I needed oil faster, I can put upgrades in our pump, but for now, I'm reasonably sure this rate is more than sufficient. Now let's begin processing it. So step 1, let's see, is to, I think, mix it with crystallized canola? Yeah, and this is canola seeds with mineral resin. All right. Starting from our drum of oil, we mix it again with canola and mineral resin. The mineral resin is provided by a logistics fluid provider, the canola provided by chicken. Then after that makes crystallized canola that's split two ways. Some of it goes into this mixer where it gets mixed with oil to make crystallized oil. Some of it gets sent to this chemical reactor where it gets mixed with infinity dust and liquid starlight. Both of these also come out of our logistics pipe network to make empowered canola. I believe that's what it's called, empowered canola seed. Then the empowered canola seed is sent here to mix with crystallized oil to make empowered oil. All right, next up we have to take this empowered oil and I think refine it. We can either use a single block distillery if we only want one product. It's not unreasonable to throw the diesel away and only take the naphtha. However, if you use the multi-block distillery, you get both. You get the sulfuric gas too, but I really don't care for it. So I'm probably gonna make something that gets me make the multi-block distillery and go for the diesel and naphtha outputs. The Distillation Tower is a multi-block, kind of like the blast furnaces. It's, instead of composing of like coils and heat-proof blocks, made of stainless steel casings, and that's really about all there is to it. So the base is 3x3, and there are some restrictions on what goes where. The energy or the fluid input must be in the bottom middle. I guess that's really the only restriction. Energy input somewhere. I have an item output bus, although I'm pretty sure I don't need an item output bus. These recipes can produce item outputs, but the specific ones I'm doing will not have any. Anyways, I guess the other restriction is the output hatches, which is where your distilled fluids come out, have to be on the sides, which I guess there's nowhere else to put them. Anyways, everything else is clean stainless steel blocks. And I'm not sure, do I need one more layer? It looks like I do. So it is hollow. I'll get rid of that. And I think this should form it then, if I didn't do something wrong. Alright, I did something wrong. I figured out what was wrong. So first of all, GregTech multi-blocks have a feature where if you shift right click the controller, it'll tell you like what's wrong, which helped tremendously. Turns out it's you on the bottom layer you must have exactly one output bus, and on each subsequent layer you need to have exactly one output hatch. I had both a hatch and a bus on the bottom layer, and I didn't like that. Anyways, this is a 2 fluid level distillation tower, which means we will only get 2 fluid outputs from our empowered oil, wherever that is. That means that we will be getting the bottom 2, so diesel and sulfuric naphtha, which saves you the trouble of throwing out sulfuric gas. It will automatically throw out the sulfuric gas for us. So let's see about pumping that in. The input is always in the bottom middle, no other way around that. So let me, I guess I have to go diving to hook up our fluid conduit here. So I hooked up our input, and it even ran for 1 cycle. As we can see, there's 1 cycle worth of output, and then it doesn't run anymore. I suspect maybe it doesn't void excess like I thought it did, and it's waiting for a spot to put the third product before it continues. So let's just see what happens, I guess, out of curiosity. If I grab oops, that drum has something in it, a drum, and put this here, does that sulfuric naphtha and diesel, but it's continuing to run now. So it is voiding the third product. It's just, it needs one empty hatch to run. Huh. I'm not quite sure why that is. It's also turning off every now and then. I'm just going to make the third layer, add it to, because it's pretty cheap, add it to the tower and see if the tower's any happier. With the third layer added there, it's putting sulfuric gas in there, and the tower is indeed happier. It doesn't stutter. So I guess I'll just leave it there. I'll just put a trash can. In fact, I'll do that right now. Put a trash can right in front of it so that so I won't back stuff on it. If any of these fill up, then the distillation tower should shut off. The diesel that comes out of this distillation tower is easy to deal with. Take it, just like the biodiesel, we mix it with tetranitromethane. I'm doing this in a different mixer than our biodiesel mixer because there tends to be small amounts of biodiesel left behind in this one. So I don't want, the machine to get jammed because there's a partial batch of biodiesel. Anyways, the diesel mixes here, gets turned into Nitro Infused diesel, which just sits in this tank until it gets a chance to be fully infused into whatever, or yeah, it gets turned into the Tame boosted diesel rather, where it sits in this tank waiting to be fully infused into nitro diesel, which will then be burned in our diesel generators, which I think by now have all shifted over. Now, I guess some of our these MV turbines basically are never running, so they'll eventually burn through this biodiesel and switch over. But until then, yeah. Anyways, the naphtha requires a slightly different processing. So naphtha, well, sulfuric naphtha, first we have to process this into naphtha by hitting it with hydrogen. The resulting hydrogen sulfide, you can either get the sulfur out of it or just throw it out. I'll probably just throw it out. And then we can process it further into epoxy resin, I believe, right? We mix that with naphtha, nitrogen dioxide, and epichlorohydrin makes epoxy resin. So as I was saying, sulfuric naphtha with hydrogen makes this regular naphtha, and then regular naphtha with epichlorohydrin and nitrogen dioxide make our epoxy resin, which we can turn into sheets. However, the production of nitrogen dioxide, I think, is a bit of a bottleneck. Right now I'm doing this at MV tier, which means it takes like 30 seconds to make 3 buckets of it. I'm just going to add a HV chemical reactor that'll do 3 buckets per 15 seconds. So let me just show you. When I want to add a machine that consumes fluids to this network, it's pretty easy. I just put it down, give it the appropriate filter. For nitrogen dioxide, it's nitrogen. And hold on, I'll let you guess what comes next. If you guessed oxygen, you win. So insert nitrogen and oxygen on brown, extract everything else, or extract the final product also on brown. I think nitrogen dioxide probably needs a chip. It needs chip on 1. I usually carry a few of these on me because they get used pretty much all over the place. All right. So this way, the nitrogen dioxide gets produced, and basically everything is on the brown channel. So if I need any fluid that's part of my fluid network, I can either insert it via a logistics pipe if it's not if it's like really far away and not connected to this main ender fluid conduit network, or if it is on this main ender fluid conduit network, I can just insert from the brown channel. Anyways, this nitrogen dioxide will get sucked over to here where it gets turned into epoxy resin. Now, there's, I think, 2 things we can do with epoxy. Well, okay, 3 things we can do with epoxy resin. One is make the smog chicken. I don't actually think, I'm not quite sure what this is for. The smog chicken makes smog-enriched eggs, which makes sludge. But, oh, I guess sludge is to make charcoal byproducts to make toluene, isn't it? No? Does one of these make toluene? You know what? I'll figure it out later. How about I'll save one bucket of it for a rainy day or a smoggy day, and then we'll turn the rest into sheets of various forms. So right now we need just regular epoxy resin sheets, and then we can turn those into epoxy circuit boards. However, later we will also need to turn them into fiber reinforced epoxy resin sheets, which turn into the next tier higher circuit board. So why don't I just set up both of those right here, because we're going to need both of them sooner or later. And I don't think this is any harder to do, right? Glass fiber or raw carbon fiber. Let's go with glass fiber then. I think glass fibers are... Oh, I guess neither is trivial. You know what? Let's hold off then on making the fiber reinforced sheets. I'll just make the regular resin sheets. And just like that, we have epoxy resin sheets being produced. I'll have this machine stop after it fills up one chest full and start backstuffing into a drum. That way we have a drum full on hand for when we're ready to tackle the fiber reinforced epoxy sheets. Anyways, turns out I was wrong about nitrogen dioxide being our bottleneck. Having run this a little while, it's become pretty abundant that that naphtha is going to be our bottleneck. And that's based on the rate that this thing produces it. So, meh. If I really wanted it to be faster, I could overclock our Distillation Tower one more tier, but then I think that would just move our bottleneck elsewhere. I suspect if I were to do that, that would move our bottleneck to mineral resin production. But frankly, I think this is fine enough as it is. I mean, it's taken it maybe 15 minutes to produce 50 sheets, but once it has a backlog built up, we only use a stack a day or something like that, if even. Anyways, we can take these sheets then and turn them into circuit boards, I believe, in a chemical reactor, right? Copper foil and sulfuric acid. I'll wait until I have a stack of it, I think, to make it nice and clean. I have one thing I want to do in the meantime, and that is improve my gear. I want to do so by replacing my iron gear with this Thaumium Fortress gear. I think I'm going to keep the helmet for now because it has night vision on it. Although on second hand, I think I also did get a night vision enchanted book. I have a few night vision enchanted books even. So I guess I can replace the helmet too with the Thaumic Fortress helmet. It's not necessarily the best. Where is it? It's not necessarily the best helmet in the game. However, this Thaumic Fortress stuff is, I think, among the better equipment that we can make at this point. At some point, we can do better with like the draconic stuff and whatnot. But for now, I think if I have Thaumic Fortress helmet, legs, and chest with just regular Thaumium boots, because there's no Fortress variant of them, we'll be in pretty good shape. I can then enchant these with Thaumcraft's runic shielding, right, which gives you, think about them runic shielding as like virtual hearts. The thing is, these hearts regenerate on their own, which is really nice when you go to places like space, where I won't have regen for my beacon because my beacon won't be in space. There's also a very neat perk here in the Astral Sorcery tree down here. 200% increased runic shielding. Yeah, you can ignore the other three lines. They're bad things, but the 75% less armor isn't a big deal. When you have a lot of runic shielding, elemental resistances, wonderful. And your health is set to 1. However, you still get the bonus hearts from nutrition. So you have 1 heart, and then you get another 10 from nutrition. So you have 11, which is sufficient. But that 200% runic shielding, combined with how much increase, I have 63% increased perk effect, means that'll be a lot of increased runic shielding. So if we get like 10 runic shielding on gear, we'll have like 40 runic shielding hearts, and we'll basically be unkillable at that point. So let's make and runic shielding our armor. I've done a bad thing. This is a bad thing. It's growing. I think this process releases a little bit of flux into the world, so as a result, I've made a flux rift. To close it, I'm going to have to make a collapser. Hopefully this recipe isn't too bad. The flux sponge. I guess we're supposed to make this instead then. Well, that's awkward. I can't make these because I can't go to space for resonating gems yet. Maybe I can do the ritual? Alright, so I can't make anything to get rid of this yet. I think the ritual will not despawn a rift that has already spawned. So, I just have to keep an eye on it. It'll despawn on its own, but when it does, it spawns a little, like, purple seed. And as long as I kill the purple seed reasonably quickly, it won't turn my entire base purple. So, we'll keep an eye on you. Don't you go anywhere. Anyways, the reason that rift got created was because I was filling all these jars with stuff to make our armor. So, let's, run this infusion. I love the time in a bottle. It really makes these infusions run at a bearable speed. One left. Is it just me or is this rift getting bigger, not smaller like I was expecting it to? I should get a thermometer and see exactly how bad it is in this chunk. Well, it's not like that bad right now. I think that's because all the flux has actually already been sucked into the rift. So maybe when the rift's done sucking up flux, it'll start shrinking. But this is definitely bigger. Ooh, it just did a thing. It's definitely bigger than it was 5 minutes ago, and that is concerning. All that's left now for our armor, anyways, is to enchant it. So I wouldn't mind getting fire protection on one of these so that I can hold hot stuff without burning my hands. But if I don't, it's no big deal. I'm gonna at least be a little selective and see if I can get a good first enchant to start us off. All right, Unbreaking 8. What else? Could be better. Could be better. And fire protection. All right. Well, I got what I wanted. I'm going to use books just to put the rest of the useful enchants on these stuff, like Unbreaking on this, more Mending on my other pieces, etc., etc. Most of these books I have, you know, like if I want Mending, I'm 90% sure I have at least one Mending book in here. Nope, that's a lie. I don't. Well, I can craft them easily enough. I have, 20 million extraterrestrial matter to enchant with. Ah, I caught it. I wasn't right on time, but I caught the Tame Seed. If you kill the Tame Seed reasonably quickly like I am here, it won't do any damage, any permanent damage. All of this purple I think I might have to dig up as well, but no permanent damage was done to the base. You tried, Tame Seed. You tried. Now, enchants are done. There's some keyword soup on this, but next step is runic shielding. So each tier of runic shielding takes one Salus Mundus, any item, and a piece of amber. And you can go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is a limit. I just don't know what the actual limit is. Your practical limit is probably how much of this stuff you can jam into it in time. Anyways, amber, however, is a bit difficult to get in this pack. Normally it's just world gens. However, I have a little bit from what I presume to be dungeons. However, 5 is not going to get us very far. So let's see how we actually craft this stuff. It's made in an autoclave with Certus seeds and resin. Certus seeds is the regular recipe. We have a bunch of Certus from ore veins. Resin comes from... You fluid extractor this from trees, right? Is that how it works? Or not fluid extractor, resin extractor? Is that what it's called? This is what it is. It's an arboreal extractor. And I think it pulls sap or resin out of a tree. I'm just going to set it up and we'll find out. So the arboreal extractor gets us sap from an oak tree. I'm pretty sure if we just use a different tree, we can get resin. Let's try spruce. And I guess I have to reset the machine. Does it say specifically what gets what? That help? Doesn't look like it. Well, there we go. It just did 3 buckets all at once. So yeah, we do get resin from spruce trees. Then we just need to dip this in Certus seeds and what machine do we use? An autoclave? Alright. Adding some phytogrow to the arboreal extractor should make it run faster. I also took the leaves off the tree, although I'm slightly concerned that that actually makes it not work. Because I haven't seen it produce any fluid in a while. I'll watch it for a second, but if it doesn't produce it, because like it hasn't consumed a piece of Phyto Grow either, maybe it needs the tree to be complete. Yeah, that appears to have done it. I grew a new tree and immediately it started working again. So I guess it needs a fresh, unmolested spruce tree. What the heck? I made another one! Oh, I think what's happening is when I time accelerate this, it actually messes with the way the flux calculations are done. Because I know generating enough flux to fill, or generating enough Essentia to fill these jars will not generate 1% as much, or like the amount of flux it takes to make the rift. But I think when you time in a bottle the Essentia smeltery, things start getting ugly. So I'm going to stop doing that. This one should clean itself up soon. Hopefully it doesn't kill any of my jars. I could move my jars, but meh. I just have to catch this one when it goes away too. Shouldn't be a problem. Anyways, as you can see right above, right here, I have 6 things of runic shielding. However, I want more. So let's go pick up that astral sorcery trait. However, I don't currently have skill points. And these levels past 30 take forever. To the point where like standing on my conveyor belt going in circles has practically no effect. So I think I'm going to just use my free respec. The quest here gives you 1 free respec, and it doesn't really matter what I take, but I guess it kind of does. Let me take a look at this tree again. I'm going to start from Visio again, but it's basically, instead of going around this way to get to the center, if I go around this way, because I'm going on this side anyways, I should be able to save a few points. So I still want to start Visio. So I have to grab the Visio shifting star, or a radiant star. And then you just hold it, and it respecs you. Bam! And then you come here, you still have all of your skill points. Alright, it's time to take the runic shielding perks. So right now we have 6 hearts, which I think is 12, because each heart is, right, there's half hearts. So this should give us 1 more heart. Gives us a heart and a half, probably because of increased effect. Let's see, does it even say increased runic shielding here anywhere? Just not. Alright, whatever. But the next point is a big one. So this should reduce our max health by a bit and give us, I guess, the runic shielding wrapped around and turned green. I still have all my max hearts. The runic shielding has wrapped around a second time and has turned the other shade of green. Just keeps going. Alright, I guess that's how much runic shielding we get. I don't know how many bars that is, but it's multiple bars. From here, I don't know if I want to bother taking... I mean, I guess I'll take the 10% increase perks. I don't know. I only have 3 points left. I'm going to take a look around. I settled on taking 15% perk effectiveness and the 2 to 10% increase runic shielding. So let's go play with that sea serpent that was messing us up earlier. Around here somewhere. There you are. And see how much damage we take from him. I imagine he might do a meaningful amount of damage still, just because we don't have, we have reduced armor. But I think we should be able to tank him. Oh, look at you. You're so cute. You're hurting my shielding. Aha, we killed him. Did he drop anything? Sea serpent scales. Alright. My hearts also look very weird. I have 1 red heart and a bunch of yellow hearts. I'm going to take some more damage and see if I can figure out what that heart situation means. Well, I can indefinitely tank a zombie wailing on me to the point where he gives up and stops wailing on me. Hits me a few times, he's like, nah, I give up. This is fine. And he just walks away. Anyways, I also had a creeper go off at point blank range and it did no damage. So I'm content with this. I'm sure as mobs get more difficult, maybe this will become a problem, but I don't know if I actually have 1 heart or if I have 1 heart plus hearts from other sources. But yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find another creeper to test that point blank explosion again. I feel powerful. It's good to feel powerful. Here, troll, hit me. That's what I thought. He can't hurt me. Oh look, oh creeper. How cute. Anyways, yeah, I think I couldn't die if I wanted to. This is wonderful. They even stopped fighting me and started fighting each other. Oh, I love this. I love everything about this. Who's gonna win? Oh, even the skeletons joining in on the fun. I don't even take damage while drowning with multiple guardians zapping me. Anyways, that was a fun detour. We now have plenty of epoxy, so let's turn some of these into circuit boards and make our cheaper tier 3 circuits, whatever, HV circuits. I appear to have forgotten about a component in the nano processor. That's the nano CPU. So this is made with a nano CPU wafer, which is a regular CPU wafer with raw carbon fibers and energized glowstone. The raw carbon fibers is, I think, palladium or platinum and carbon dust. I think we have a little bit of platinum. Yeah, we got 16 pieces of platinum from a quest report, so I guess we'll use that. Normally, I think you have to go to the moon to get this stuff. Can you get tiny piles from electrolyzing something? Endstone? Okay, you can get it from purified nickel. Gives you, so you can get it without having to go, or not to the moon, to the end. But I guess the fact that you can get it from nickel means you can get it elsewhere. Anyways, the ratio is actually extremely good. Raw carbon fibers, I think it's like every millibucket gives 2. Technically, I guess you need a IV to get 2, but even at HV, which is 1 tier overclocked, so that's 87%, like it's close enough to 1 millibucket gets 2. So I'm going to need a autoclave, and this is what, a fluid extractor? So this is quite easy to set up. One quirk of this recipe, because this output is a chance output, you don't want to let the machine back stuff. Never mind. It's okay to let the machine back stuff. This has apparently been updated in GregTech. It used to be that because this is a chance output, this machine would keep running because it's possible that the chance output doesn't happen. But apparently that has been fixed. Nonetheless, I'm going to, wrong wrench, store the result in a cache because from those, I only melted, I think, 8 ingots of platinum. From 8 ingots of platinum, we're going to get, like over 2,000 of these items. So if we get that and a supplier, oopsies, I meant a provider. Provider pipe will suffice here. We can connect that to our cache, lock the cache, and now we have access to carbon fibers. 232 of them, apparently. Oh, I must have some not in this cache. Probably from a quest reward. And we're making nano wafers. So then, once these are done, I think they just have to be cut. Yeah, you can cut them in a cutting saw for 7 nano CPU wafers each. 7's a strange number, but oh well. You only need 1 per nano processor. So this will make a little over a stack. Putting all of these components together at last. I'm soldering alloy in a HV assembler, so we had to upgrade our assembler to HV, but this makes nano processors. Aha! Which is also a quest. Alright, 4 more from the quest. Anyways, they don't really enable us to do anything we couldn't do before, right? They're the same tier as processor assemblies. However, we'll need them when it's time to upgrade to the next tier, the nano processor assembly. I mean, we could make these now, but we don't even need them now. They're for the EV tier machines, and we can't do EV until we've gone to space. So at this point, I think we've checked off all the prerequisites to start working on space technology. I think we're out of time for today, but tomorrow we will start working our way towards building a rocket that will, wherever the rocket quest is, one of these around here is a rocket and we will use that to go to the moon and beyond. So look forward to that in tomorrow's episode. In any event, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see, whoopsie, that's not the input chest, is it? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.